Welcome back to my channel, Melanated Gods of Earth. Brothers and sisters, I'm your host MODISE The High King, and if you're new, royal family, and you enjoy the vibe of the channel, make sure you're heading over to my page, hit that subscribe, let the algorithm know what's good, with the thumbs up, let other like-minded souls know that we're out here with the share. And on today's video, royal family, I'd like to continue more on the conversational topic of the situation across the African continent in many forms or the other, but primarily the Congo, the D.R.C, and how the powers that be over there rely on African mineral resources, and if we let things slide without challenge, we will remain underdeveloped. We will abandon our destiny to keep the lights on in Europe, something we cannot do under any circumstances. We must focus on our kin, because Nemo was right, if you have seen the movie Wakanda Forever, but again, I refer to it in terms of practical reasons. The king, the queen of these nations, who said should anyone try anything will be a declaration of war, because our mineral resources must keep being extracted in order to maintain their military and technological industrial complex. As you can see by that their cell phone, the key ingredients to modern day civilization, royal family. And to focus on why Pan-Africanism is to focus on the core reasons that cause us to remain underdeveloped. Like I've said before, Africa is the most resource-rich land mass on the face of the planet. That is known. The entire global economic system, capitalism, imperialism, depends on exploitation of Africa. Everywhere African people exist, we are oppressed, even on our own continent, to exploit resources to sustain their civilizations. Therefore, liberating Africa advances the liberation of African people on the continent and in the diaspora. Let's get into today's video. So the clips of Congo have been making the rounds, and other African regions on our African continent have been making the rounds of the situation there. And in recent weeks, we covered the story in Niger, what the Nigerians putting out the French means for them as they lose uranium, number one. Number two, as we assess on how to emancipate the motherland and her people, to maintain a system of fair business deals, fair wages for the people, and extraction of minerals in a way that sustains the land rather than abuse it. And thus, let's get into the first clip.
Country of the Congo, but China, it dominates and controls mining production on the ground. And what I've seen with my own eyes, and what any Congolese person living in the Katanga region will tell you, is they pay no heed to the human rights of the Congolese people, and they pay no heed to the environmental protection. Mining companies, especially the Chinese ones, dump toxic effluents in the earth, the air, the water. I have seen villages with children playing in the dirt covered in sulfuric acid powder that is wafting over the entire countryside from mineral processing plants at Chinese mining companies. And as I've mentioned a few times, millions of trees have been clear cut. And I never met anyone in the Congo who said they saw anyone planting one tree to replace them. The waterways, lakes, and rivers have also been polluted. So fish stocks are polluted, animal stocks are polluted, vegetables are polluted. Everyone there is being slowly poisoned to death by cobalt mining operations. That's the truth that the stakeholders at the top of the chain don't want us to know, but that's the truth the Congolese people are desperate to share.
Naturally, anything they accuse anyone of, the West in general, are guilty of it themselves. They have been exploiting the resources, they've been poisoning the land, they've been abusing everyone everywhere. And therefore, what others do is what they learn from them. So whether it's the West, whether it's the East, everyone is out there to get our mineral resources, royal family. Motherland is rich with everything that they need. Their modern day tech industries rely on all these things. And the things that they are willing to do in order to keep an iron grip on our resources, royal fam. Whether it's China, whether it's America, Europe, London, it's all the same. And therefore Africa must unfortunately fight everyone at the same time, which is a nightmare, but necessary. Because the technological age is the critical driver of modern day civilization. And all the ingredients they need are available, unfortunately, in one place. They can colonize and brutalize the land And thus we must look at our resources with the same eye that the fictional movies of Wakanda and them look at their vibranium with cultural integrity. It has been made a key part of their culture, their civilization, and we must replace, obviously, the fictional vibranium with every mineral resource available on the continent, and the potential, what we can do with these resources. And we must defend our resources and each other with the same royal standard, as deserving of the people and the mineral blessings that we have been blessed with. Because without that level of cultural and spiritual integrity, we will know no peace, we will know no civilizational development. All that we see in this present day era will be a dream as far as African developmental agenda is concerned. All of it will remain a permanent dream. The land will be poisoned, we can't grow anything. The people will be poisoned, they won't be able to work. And so we must focus on all these things. Understand that we must send a strong message to outsiders that we cannot be responsible for cleaning up their mess or keeping the lights on in their nations. Our people need us more than we need them. They need us. They need our resources. They need all of these things. And until they're prepared to respect us as a people, us as a continent, us as a mineral-rich nation, and without which they cannot have technological development, nothing. And therefore, family, the question will always be, how far are we willing to go as African people to defend ourselves and our resources and each other from exploitation? Neocolonialism is a threat to the African developmental agenda. It is a threat. Africa is the most rich, resource-rich landmass on the face of the planet, number one. So they come here and they mine our resources as though they don't have to live here, because they don't have to live here. So they don't hesitate to destroy the land. They don't hesitate to poison the waters, to poison the fish, to destroy everything everywhere in order to get what they want. Then they go back to their nations and live in peace and prosperity while we continue to languish in poverty. Real fat.
Boycotting tech companies is the only way to help the situation in the Congo right now. The West has buried its claws inside Congo, and they're not going to let go until we speak up. They're banking on our silence to keep doing what they're doing, to keep exploiting the Congolese people for their labor. Let them know that you know that children are being buried alive underneath these mines looking for coltan so that Apple gets to make iPhones. We have to speak up and stop buying their products. UNICEF won't help. The UN doesn't care. The West has installed inside the D.R.C. right now, their current leader is a puppet for the West. He doesn't care. He's working for them. So it's up to us, the consumers. We have the power. We hold all the power. And we have to realize that the machine doesn't run unless we run it. Boycott tech and free the Congo.
It's that simple. But at the same time, it is that rough. Because it goes all the way up to the military heads of these nations, the military contracts, the Department of Defense in the US, NATO, all the countries involved with NATO, the UN Security Council. So for us to say that we must emancipate ourselves, we're also saying that these countries must weaken their own security so that we may be free. But they won't, will they? We know how seriously these nations take their security. We know. They take their security very seriously. For us to say that we must emancipate ourselves is to say that they must accept that they will never again receive new minerals to manufacture technologies as corporations, and therefore they would have military contracts worth billions and billions, and they won't. They will rather keep causing more pain, more chaos in order to sustain their power, as you are seeing happening now in Palestine, which is apparently has less to do with Palestine and more to do with the fact that they have a long-term project for oil, a long-term project for this a canal of their own that can compete with the Suez Canal, which is controlled by Egypt. And you count how much money Egypt makes from the boats that traffic products and cargo. Because if right now Egypt, for example, were to lose access to the Suez Canal and shut it down, all these countries will have to circumnavigate the whole African continent in order to transport cargo, which will be ridiculously more expensive. So Israel is counting how much money Egypt makes with the cargo ships passing through the Suez Canal, and they want their own canal. So how far are they willing to go to keep an iron grip on resources? They will wage war and a genocidal campaign. They will keep an eye closed, or they keep their eyes and ears closed as atrocities are committed so they can get access to the technologies. Access to the mineral resources that manufacture these technologies. So the question is, how far are we willing to go to defend ourselves, once again, from outsiders who seek to only abuse us? How far are we willing to go, fam? Because enough is enough. Number one, African people are speaking with one voice. There in the West, life as you know it will go. For Africa to liberate itself means the decline of life as you know it over there in the West. Life as you know it will go out the window. Because your first world lifestyles came at our expense. And when we refuse to pay that expense any longer, what comes next? Poverty, a slide into third worldification. You're already starting to see the signs on your everyday shelves. You're already starting to see the signs in parts of your countries. People are going to sleep hungry. In Britain, for example, they have to choose between warming up their houses or going to sleep with an empty stomach. I would not wish that on anyone. But you only knew to survive and to sustain yourselves by exploiting other countries and breaking other countries. Mineral rich, the only way to get those minerals was to break us. Why? What happens when we finally liberate ourselves from you? Did you ever plan for that? You never planned for that possibility, did you? As we speak, think tanks across the US are still plotting on how they can get access to Africa's resources, cut China out as a middleman for access to key critical components of the technologies. Now you want to come to Africa and get direct control during a time when we're liberating ourselves from you and your neo-colonialism? And that's the question, fam. How far are they, to understand how far they're willing to go is to appreciate how far we have to go. Because they will not allow themselves to slide into third worldification, to a new dark age. They won't. But ultimately, royal fam, we must keep on keeping on. Keep rising. Keep embracing the royal standard. Keep doing what we are doing on a daily basis. Keep spreading the word, spreading the message. To develop the motherland and her people will come at a great cost. It'll be a struggle. It'll be a battle for the ages. Let me know what you think in the comments below, royal fam. If you enjoy the video, make sure you smash the subscribe, the thumbs up, let the algorithm know what's good, and other like-minded souls know that we're out here with a share, and I'll appreciate you, royal family. Stay royal, stay dangerous, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.